whiskers, and the eyes are smooth and blue, and the nose also has some texturing to it, so it would be like fur, and then the end of the nose is very smooth as well. It's quite an attractive cover, wouldn't you say? It's quite a large book. It's thick and heavy. Wildlife brings you face to face with the most extraordinary animals on earth. This breathtaking book takes you inside the world's most important and beautiful animal habitats. From the depths of the Costa Rican rainforest to the lush wetland of the Okavango Delta, discover the diversity of our natural world and the secret lives of the creatures that live there. This is also made in partnership with the Smithsonian. Let's take a look inside. Little sea turtles. This is Penguin Random House. And this edition is from 2018. We have animal habitats: North America, Central and South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, Australasia, and Antarctica. Look at all these fascinating pictures, different animals. The foreword. We share the world with an extraordinary diversity of wildlife, the breadth and depth of which is, frankly, wonderful. As our ancestors traveled through the continents of planet Earth, they encountered amazing animals in each new area they explored. This biogeography, or how species are geographically distributed throughout different natural habitats, is something you can now experience for yourself in the following pages by discovering which animals inhabit each continent's ecosystems. It is the aim of this book to present a visually compelling exploration of the world's ecoregions by summarizing the creatures that live there, as well as providing key facts about their life cycles and biology. Animal habitats, forests, grasslands, extreme environments such as the polar areas and the deserts, aquatic environments, North America, British Columbia. A young grizzly bear searches for salmon during a spawning run in a Canadian river. Its mother won't be far as cubs don't become independent until they are more than 2 years old. So here it is, in the golden light, splashing in the river, trying to catch salmon. and the extent and duration of sea ice reduces every year. In 2007, the Northwest Passage, linking the Atlantic and Pacific, remained ice-free for the first time in recorded history. This change in conditions can have profound effects on the growth of plankton, on which all marine life ultimately depends. The sea ice is vital to polar bears, which need it for hunting and breeding. Musk ox. One of the few large mammals to roam the Arctic year-round, the musk ox is highly adapted to the cold. Its thick undercoat is covered by a coarse cloak of guard hairs, over 24 inches or 60 centimeters long, giving the animal its shaggy appearance. Its short, stocky legs and large hooves provide good traction on snow. The horns are used in defense and in dominance battles among bulls. They are 6 to 8 feet tall, 1.9 to 2.3 meters, 440 to 900 pounds, or 200 to 410 kilograms. They're locally common. They eat sedges, grasses, and leaves. And it shows they're in the very northern parts of the Arctic and upper Canada, and then also on the edges of Greenland. Fighting bulls' collisions can be heard up to 1 mile or 1.6 kilometers away. Caribou. Caribou, known as reindeer in Europe, are well adapted to life in the Arctic tundra. They have a dense coat and a broad muzzle that warms frigid air before it reaches the lungs. Caribou are strong swimmers with broad, flat hooves. These provide stability on soft summer ground and act as snowshoes in winter, becoming harder and sharper edged, ideal for cutting through snow and ice. Despite their broad hooves, they can run at up to 50 miles per hour or 80 kilometers per hour. That is quite fast. They can see ultraviolet light, which helps them locate lichens and snow-covered vegetation on dark winter days. Caribou are almost constantly on the move. Some migrate 3,000 miles or 5,000 kilometers in a year, the longest distance any land mammal travels. They're 4 to 7 feet in length, 1.2 to 2.2 meters, 265 to 660 pounds, or 120 to 300 kilograms. They are considered endangered. They eat leaves, roots, bark, and lichen. They are common all across the world in the very northern regions, along the coasts of Greenland, in the Arctic and Alaska down into Canada. Look at this Arctic fox. He's leaping into the air. His soft, fuzzy fur, white, matching the landscape. Incredibly well adapted to its harsh environment in the Arctic Circle, the Arctic fox can survive temperatures as low as negative 58 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 50 degrees Celsius. Its dense fur is a few inches thick during winter, insulating its short ears, muzzle, and even the soles of its feet, which allows it to walk on ice without slipping. In winter, most Arctic foxes grow a white coat. Some turn a steely blue that lets them blend into the snow. Although it feeds on smaller mammals such as lemmings, voles, and Arctic hares in summer. In winter, the Arctic fox may dig out seal pups from their under-ice birth chambers. It will also follow polar bears and wolves to feed on carcasses they leave behind. The Arctic fox has the warmest pelt of any animal found in the Arctic. They're 21 to 22 inches, or 53 to 55 centimeters. They weigh approximately 9 pounds, or 4 kilograms. They're considered common. They eat small mammals, fish, and birds. And they're in the very uppermost part of the Arctic around the world. The coast in Greenland and then the northern Canada. Here's one that's more brown in the summer coat. Those yellow, orange eyes, little fuzzy ears. Polar bear. The polar bear vies with the brown bear for the title of the world's largest living land carnivore. It's classified as a marine mammal, and its preferred hunting ground is Arctic pack ice. Superbly adapted to its environment, the polar bear has non-retractable claws and dimpled, partially furred foot pads that provide extra grip, allowing it to walk and run easily on ice. The polar bear's body is covered in double-layered fur, the thickest of any bear species. The inner layer is a dense undercoat, while the outer fur consists of clear, hollow tubes that trap air for insulation. Since the tubes reflect all visible light, the outer coat makes polar bears seem white, allowing them to blend easily into snowy environments. Their skin is black and rests on a layer of blubber up to 4 inches or 10 centimeters thick. Polar bears can live up to 25 to 30 years in the wild. Their lives alternate between feasting and fasting, and their intestines are adapted to process fat, which is easier to digest than meat and has more calories. Polar bears are capable of running as fast as an Olympic sprinter. Here are 2 young males in mock battle, practicing for when they get older. Mouths open, growling at each other, getting ready to do a little boxing. Here are 2 cubs in their den. Polar bears are 6 to 9 feet long, 1.8 to 2.8 meters, 880 to 1,500 pounds, or 400 to 680 kilograms. They are considered vulnerable. They eat seals, fish, birds, and vegetation. And you can see they occupy the uppermost oceans around the world, the coldest Arctic areas. Walrus. This large marine mammal has a wide snout covered in hundreds of stiff, whisker-like bristles called vibrissae, which helps it to locate its food. Mollusks, such as mussels, are favorite foods, but walruses will eat the carcasses of young seals, usually when other food items are scarce. The song of the walrus. Walruses travel in groups and haul out on land or ice. Females generally follow pack ice south in fall and north in spring, but most males stay all year in herds in the southern Arctic. only joining the females to mate. Bulls compete for mating locations by performing visual displays and intricate songs, and also spar with their tusks. A successful bull will mate with several cows between December and March, and the females give birth to a single calf in spring the following year. The average lifespan of walruses in the wild is 40 years. They can withstand icy conditions because of their thick skin and the presence of vast amounts of blubbery fat around their shoulders and neck. A walrus can slow its heartbeat to survive in icy water. It's looking quite distinguished with its giant tusks and stiff whiskers, and his rather bubbled looking skin, like knobs all over. Naturally cinnamon brown walruses may turn pale after a long stay in icy water, as blood vessels in their skin constrict to save body heat in warmer weather. Some walruses look pink as their vessels dilate to get rid of excess heat. They're 8 to 12 feet long, weigh up to 2.2 tons or 2 metric tons. Their status is not known. They eat mollusks, octopuses, and fish, and they occupy some areas of the very northernmost seas around the world. Of a snowy owl. A mature male that's almost pure white. The snowy owl is a creature of the extremes, living in the high Arctic tundra. It is equipped with exceptionally thick plumage for insulation against the cold. The old males as white as a swan. Usually among owls, females look different, with more dark spots and bars. Snowy owls mostly feed on lemmings, surviving the long, dark Arctic winter and the extreme cold so long as they have food to eat. If food is scarce, they move south with regular winter migrations into central Canada and Siberia. Hundreds of snowy owls go farther south every few years as the populations of different lemming species boom and bust. Occasionally, they reach as far as Florida. Wow. Snowy owls breed every 4 or 5 years, with clutches of 3 to 13 eggs, and have barren years in between, so populations vary enormously. They're 21 to 28 inches in length, or 53 to 71 centimeters. They weigh between 2 and 6 pounds, or 1 to 2.7 kilograms. They are common. They eat small mammals and birds. And they also tend to be in the very most northern parts of the world, but can actually range much further south sometimes. And here's one with its wings outstretched, looking like it's getting ready to grab something. It's beautiful. It's big tail feathers with some spots. Then they have more bars on their sides. I wonder if this one is a female. Heavily feathered legs and toes. Looking at Yellowstone. One of the hot springs. How beautiful is that? The greens and blues rimmed with yellow and orange and brown. And then you've got the white, guessing Grizzly bear. Grizzlies are powerful bears, and competition for the best fishing spot can cause a fight to break out. However, most will stop before a serious injury occurs. Who's the daddy? Female grizzlies will mate with several males in a breeding season, and the cubs in the resulting litter may have different fathers. They're 5 to 8 feet tall, 1.5 to 2.4 meters, 132 to 727 pounds, or 60 to 330 kilograms. They are locally common. They eat berries, roots, carrion, and fish. And the grizzlies range from northern Canada and Alaska all the way down to the southwestern part of Canada and into the U.S., into the Rockies. There's two having a fight out in the middle of a river. Gray wolf. Despite the name, the gray wolf can be black, brown, gray, or almost white. All gray wolves are pack predators, hunting large hoofed mammals such as elk, deer, and caribou, and smaller prey such as rabbits and beavers. They also feed on carrion, particularly in winter. An average wolf pack has 7 to 8 adults ruled by an alpha male and female. The alpha pair leads hunts, establishes territory, and chooses den sites, reinforcing the pack's bonds through vocalizations such as barks and howls. The alphas mate from January to March. After about 3 months, the female bears a litter of 4 to 7 pups. The pack nurtures the pups until they are about 10 months old, when some will leave, traveling up to 500 miles or 800 kilometers in search of other wolves. Successful reintroduction. The light gray Rocky Mountain wolf subspecies was reintroduced to Yellowstone in 1995. Since the wolves' return, elk and deer are more mobile, letting trees and grasslands regenerate. There is a video that you can look up. It's quite popular on social medias of the importance of the reintroduction of the wolves to Yellowstone and the increased animal variations and the recovery of the land and the rivers, simply because they replaced one of the predators. And it's worth looking up if you have a chance, because it's pretty fascinating how important those food chains are, and that when you reestablish them, that good things can happen. Wolves are 3 to 5 feet long. They weigh between 35 and 132 pounds, or 16 to 60 kilograms. They're 3 to 5 feet, or 1 to 1.5 meters long. They weigh 35 to 132 pounds, or 16 to 60 kilograms. They are considered common. They eat elk, deer, rabbits, and carrion. And they live in the northern parts of Europe and even down into India, Asia, the Middle East, and then also the edges of Greenland and the Arctic, all the way down into the northern part of the United States. Bobcat also the most widely distributed cat. It is found as far north as British Columbia. The secret to this tough little cat's success is adaptability. It prefers dense forests but can easily survive in swamps, mountains, and deserts. Recently, it has added suburban and urban terrain to its habitats. This often brings it into conflict with humans, as it preys on domestic pets and small livestock. In the wild, rabbits form a large part of a bobcat's diet, but it also hunts rodents, birds, beavers, and small deer, mainly at dawn and dusk. At other times, it rests in dens hidden in thickets, hollow trees, or rocky crevices. Like most cat species, the bobcat is solitary except during the mating season, from December to April. After about a 2-month gestation period, females give birth to litters of about 3 cubs, which remain with their mother for 8 months. There's one peeking out between some aspen tree trunks. Fuzzy. Little boop its little nose. They're 26 to 43 inches or 66 to 109 centimeters long. They weigh 9 to 34 pounds or 4 to 15.4 kilograms. They are quite common. They hunt rabbits, rodents, and birds, and they cover Canada and most of the United States and down into Mexico. Wolverine. If you're a University of Michigan fan, you'll know all about wolverines. Known as the glutton, albeit unfairly, the wolverine satisfies its voracious appetite by killing prey as big as deer. Its strong jaws rip open the toughest hides and crush the biggest bones in search of marrow. Although it is, in fact, a huge weasel, its heavy fur, sturdy legs, and a large feet give the wolverine a bear-like appearance. It can walk on snow with its broad feet and survive extreme conditions in remote forest tundra and the mountains encircling the Arctic. Wolverines store food after a big kill. Reindeer and caribou are dismembered and buried in snow or soil, or pushed into rock crevices and gullies. They mate in summer, and 2 to 4 cubs are born the following spring. So that's a fairly long gestation period. They're 26 to 41 inches, or 65 to 105 centimeters long. They weigh 13 to 40 pounds, or 6 to 18 kilograms. They are considered common. They eat deer, hare, birds, and fruit. And they cover North and East Asia, northern parts of North America, and the Northwest, as well in some of the Great Lakes such as Michigan and East. Moose. The world's largest species of deer, the moose lives below the Arctic Circle, inhabiting coniferous and deciduous woodland, swamps, and lakes. In Europe, the moose is also known as elk, whereas in North America, to add to the confusion, the elk is an entirely different species. They are solitary nomads. Unlike most other deer species, moose are mostly solitary, although females are accompanied by their calves. They do not defend territories, staying on the move all year round. Male moose select habitats that offer the greatest supply of food, while females choose habitats that provide the most cover for them and their young. Moose are 8 to 10 feet long, or 2.4 to 3 meters. They weigh 620 to 1,325 leaves lichen, water plants, moss, and bark. And they live in North and East Asia, Northern Europe, and Northern North America. White-tailed deer that are quite common. The American pika. They're so cute. Pikas use their cheek glands to scent mark their territory. The American pika looks like a cross between a guinea pig with short legs and a large head and a rabbit with round ears and a whiskered face. Its long tail is hidden in fur. Lively in daylight, the animal bounds across scree slopes, pausing to make bird-like cheeps that warn of the presence of predators, such as coyotes, weasels, and stoats, or far-carrying mews, to assert its territory. This consists of a foraging area and a den in a burrow or rock crevice. Pikas live next to a member of the opposite sex, giving a male-female patchwork of territories. In summer, the pika gathers flowering stems such as fireweed and long grasses. These are stored in a pile near the burrow and left to dry. As winter approaches, the pika drags its hay pile deep into a rock cavity, keeping its food store safe from the snow. Pikas select plants that will decompose the most slowly to ensure their food store will last them through the winter. This animal is adapted to high, cold places, but climate change has squeezed it into an ever-shrinking range. So here's one of these little adorable things with grasses in its mouth. Pikas are 6 to 9 inches or 15 to 23 centimeters. They weigh 4 to 6 ounces or 113 to 170 grams. They are locally common. Grasses and herbs are what they eat. And basically they are in the Rocky Mountain Range in Canada and US. American beaver, they're quite common all over the United States. Bald eagle. The bald eagle is found only in North America, but the image is used as a symbol of power, grace, and durability worldwide. Like many birds of prey, its bold looks suggest a more swashbuckling lifestyle than is really the case, for it spends much of the time doing nothing, and much of its food is carrion. It is doing what big birds of prey do, conserving energy between bouts of hunting and gorging. The bald eagle was chosen as the national bird of the United States in 1782. I believe the second runner-up was the turkey. 28 to 38 inches or 71 to 96 centimeters long. They weigh between 7 and 14 pounds or 3 to 6.5 kilograms. They are quite common, and the fish, birds, and mammals are on their menu. Let's go somewhere else besides the US. Costa Rican rainforest. The Honduran white bat. And look how absolutely fuzzy and adorable this little sky puppies are. Oh my goodness, their little piggy looking noses are so cute. This tiny white bat lives in rainforests where large-leafed heliconia plants are plentiful. Feeding on fruit at night, they roost during the day in tents that they construct by nibbling either side of a leaf's midrib so that the sides collapse, forming an inverted V that protects them from rain and sun. Their snow-white fur is tinted green as sunlight filters through the bright green leaves, thus camouflaging them from potential predators. That's fascinating. They are 2 inches or 5 centimeters long. They are 1/4 of an ounce or 7.5 grams. They are near threatened. They eat fruit, pulp, fig seeds, and they are only in this part of Central America. Hoffman. Two-toed sloth. Sloths live in slow motion to conserve energy. Their metabolism is about 50% slower than that of other similarly sized mammals. Their intestine is shorter than a carnivore's, a trait usually associated with a fast-acting digestion. Yet the plant-based diet takes 6 to 21 days to be digested. This, however, allows sloths to extract the maximum nutrition from low-energy food and may also help neutralize toxins. Awkward and vulnerable on the ground, where the sloth descends once a week to defecate, the algae in its fur conceals it in the trees from predators such as harpy eagles and jaguars. They're 22 to 30 inches long, or 56 to 76 centimeters. They weigh between 9 and 19 pounds, or 4 and 8.6 kilograms. They are common. They eat leaves, buds, fruit, and sap. Ocelot. Ocelots are good swimmers and will catch fish, turtles, and frogs. The ocelot is the largest of 3 small spotted cats native to Central and South American forests. Its patterned coat and stealthy, mainly nocturnal habits ensure that the cat is rarely seen. Much of what we know about the species comes from analyzing its droppings, and radio tracking ocelots have been tracked traveling long distances at night, with adult females ranging up to 3 miles or 4 kilometers and males 5 miles or 7.5 kilometers. Ocelots become active in the late afternoon and hunt by patrolling areas of thick cover. They prefer to feed on small ground-dwelling rodents, particularly rats, but can take young deer, wild pigs, and sloths. More unusual prey include lizards, land crabs, birds, fish, and frogs. Ocelots are agile climbers, often resting in trees during the day. Like most cats, they are solitary. Ocelots will catch prey half their weight, such as green iguanas, to avoid the reptile's claws and lashing tail. A hunting ocelot will aim for the fleshy throat for a quick dispatch. They are 20 to 39 inches long. quetzals are a group of glossy birds found in tropical forests. The resplendent quetzal is the most extravagantly plumed, but when perched upright, still and silent, its long green back makes it inconspicuous in the forest. It mostly eats fruit, especially wild avocados, but will occasionally feed on insects, small frogs, lizards, and snails. Pairs are territorial, and they carve out a nest hole in a rotting tree. The female lays 1 or 2 eggs, which are incubated by both parents for 18 days. The male and female also take turns feeding the chicks. However, often only the male continues to do so for the last few days before the chicks can fly. So here it's with its green chest and back. You can see its tail feathers, green as well. And then it has this scarlet belly and undertail, and then white undertail, yellow beak. It's 14 to 26 inches, or 35 to 65.5 centimeters long. It weighs 7 to 8 ounces, or 200 to 225 grams. They are near threatened. They eat fruit and insects. The common morpho. When viewed at rest with its wings folded up, the common morpho's wings are brown with several large eye spots. However, in flight, the upper wings produce a startling display of iridescent blues and turquoises. Visible even in the thick foliage, the shimmering wings allow the butterflies to spot one another. Males keep their distance while females seek out mates. They are 4 to 5 inches, or 9.5 to 12 centimeters. Endangered status is not known. They eat juices of ripe fruits. Almost all of Central America to northern South America. I've seen some of these at a botanical garden when they have butterflies for part of the year. And they really are very beautiful. But when they have their wings closed, they do look quite camouflaged. Red-eyed tree frogs. They're so amazing. Look how red that eye is. And their green skin with orange on the upper arm, and then orange on the hands, yellow underbelly, and then the sides are blue and yellow striped, a yellow mark on the side. The blue extends down to the upper thigh on both sides, then green, then again the orange hands or toes. Red-eyed tree frogs can lighten and darken their skin color for camouflage or to signal a change in mood. Wish I could do that. The red-eyed tree frog is an iconic rainforest amphibian. As its name suggests, it has striking red eyes. Although these are usually hidden from view, to camouflage itself against leaves, it makes itself look small by tucking its legs against the body, so that only the green upper surfaces are in view. The eyes are shut to conceal the telltale red irises. When a predator gets too close, the frog flashes its eyes wide open, startling it momentarily. As it leaps to safety, extending its legs to a full stretch, it reveals yet more hidden color on its flanks and thighs. Agile climber, the red tree frog is a nocturnal insect hunter. The vertical diamond shape of its iris shows that it is focused on tracking the vertical movements of insects marching up and down tree trunks. Like all frogs, the tree frog is a good jumper, but it also climbs up trees, gripping branches with the suction cups at the tips of its fingers and toes. Unlike most frogs, the red-eyed tree frog can swim. Although the adult spends most of its life in trees, it visits water regularly, often just the puddles formed on leaves, to absorb water through the thin skin on its belly. There's a bunch of the eggs. Red-eyed tree frogs are 2 to 3 inches or 4 to 7 centimeters in length. They are seen in the summer. They are locally common and they feed on insects, and they are just in a eastern coast of Central America. Mountain tapir. The mountain tapir is the smallest, most endangered of all 4 tapir species. Fewer than 2,500 are thought to survive in the wild. It makes its home high in the Andes, where its fur, which grows to 2 inches or 5 centimeters thick, has earned it the nickname woolly tapir. Snorkeling for safety. Short, stocky legs and splayed toes make the mountain tapir sure-footed and agile, capable of negotiating steep slopes and dense undergrowth. Like other tapirs, it hides in thickets by day, feeding mainly at dawn and dusk. It has a keen sense of hearing and smell, and flees when threatened, often hiding underwater and using its trunk like a snorkel to breathe until danger passes. Tapirs call to each other with shrill, high-pitched whistles that are often mistaken for bird song. Well, I didn't know that they could hang out under the water like that. Interesting. They have these little split hooves, white lips. Young tapirs are often called watermelon on legs due to their camouflage markings, which allow them to blend in with dappled sunlight. They are 6 to 7 feet long, or 1.8 to 2.1 meters. They weigh 330 to 440 pounds, or 150 to 200 kilograms. They are endangered. They eat leaves, herbs, grasses, and fruit. South American coati. Has this long striped tail. Its nose looks kind of like a smaller raccoon. Coatis move easily between different environments. Although terrestrial, coatis mate, give birth and sleep in trees. Good climbers with powerful forelegs, they rotate their ankle joints to descend headfirst from trees, but easily jump from branch to branch, using their long tails for balance. They're also good swimmers. Strong claws and a flexible nose make them expert foragers. The female coatis form bands of up to 65 animals. During the mating season, each band is joined by a male, which mates with all receptive females, then departs. Litters of 1 to 7 young are born in spring and early summer. The females rejoin their band once the youngsters can walk and climb. They're 17 to 23 inches, or 43 to 58 centimeters. They weigh 5 to 16 pounds, or 2 to 7.2 kilograms. They are common. They eat fungi, berries, insects, and mice. It looks like the upper half South America. Spectacled bear. South America's only bear is also one of its largest land mammals, just 2 to 3 feet, or 60 to 90 centimeters high at the shoulders. They make their homes in a variety of Andean habitats, ranging from cloud forests to high-level grasslands bordering rainforests. Spectacle bears spend much of their time in trees, where they build a platform of sticks to sleep on and forage from. They eat fruit, flowers, and succulent plants. They also sometimes hunt insects, birds, and small rodents. So this is what gives it their name. Is this lighter colored fur around their eyes. It makes them look like they have large glasses or spectacles on. Lighter fur on their chest as well. They're 4 to 6 feet in length, or 1.3 to 1.9 meters. They weigh 132 to 390 pounds, or 60 to 175 kilograms. They are vulnerable. They eat fruit, succulent plants, and birds. We have a booted racket tail hummingbird. Tiny clumps of loose white feathers on the thighs make the booted racket tail a member of a group of hummingbirds called pufflegs. It is a common species in humid forests. Hummingbirds hover by flapping their wings in figure-8 pattern. These remarkable birds can fly sideways and even backward. Hummingbirds feed on nectar from scented, sugar-rich flowers, often red blossoms, hovering while licking up fluid with their long, slender tongue. They snap up small insects too, and females capture thousands to provide growing chicks with vital protein. Polygamous parents. Male booted racket tails demonstrate their fitness to females in rapid swooping display flights. The showiest males mate with several females, and each female may mate with a number of males, but she alone makes the nest and rears her brood of 2 chicks. The nest of fibers and moss is a tiny cup, placed on a bare horizontal twig. It has a strong elastic binding of cobwebs that expands as the chicks grow. That's pretty fascinating. They're 7 to 9 inches, or 17 to 23 centimeters. They're 1/8 of an ounce, or 3 grams. They are common. They eat nectar, insects, and spiders. And their range is very small in northwest to west Southern America. How about we finish with the Andean cock of the rock. In sheltered, moist ravines and river valleys high in the cloud forests of the Andes, male Andean cock of the rock gather its display for the benefit of the watching females. drawing attention even to birds deep within the forest canopy. The males are at risk of predation during a courtship, with various forest cats, birds of prey, and snakes likely to attack them. At other times, they are quiet and inconspicuous. Mud nests, females which are not as colorful as the males and have less exaggerated crests, make a cup-shaped nest of mud and saliva plastered against a rock or inside a small cave. They incubate 2 eggs for up to a month and feed the hatchlings on their own. The cock of the rock's main diet consists of a range of fruits supplemented with a supply of insects. They are quite stunning in their plumage of, looks like gray and black on the bottom half and red on the top. And actually has a red beak to match, a little yellow eye. Oh my goodness. 12 to 13 inches or 30 to 32 centimeters. They weigh 7 to 10 ounces or 200 to 275 grams. They are locally common and they eat fruit and insects. I hope you enjoyed this look into wildlife. We covered a bit of North America and Central and South America today, and there's lots more to look at in this fascinating, beautiful book. This textured top. As always, I hope you're